Well, hi everybody. How are you? Oh, peeking out there on my sounds. Yay! It's good to see you guys. Good to be here. Thanks for coming to Story and Art. Yes, yes, there is Angel. Angie, I saw you being moderator queen, and you and Larry both on the wrench crew on everybody's stuff today. It was great. I got to catch in on, I saw Brian's and I saw Mona's. I got to go back and watch the other ones, but I didn't get to those yet because I was in class. But yay! But everybody else, Linda's here, Tamara's here, yay! And Angie, Gail, Larry, yes. There we go. Everybody's checked in, having a good time. I hope everybody's having a good day. Yeah, it's coming along. Today I was the community garage sale. I was actually going to participate and have a garage sale. No, no, I did not. Did not even, after being so tired yesterday and everything, didn't even, just said, nah, never mind. But I did get 10 hours of sleep. Yes, 10 hours, you guys. I was out like a light by 10:30, and I did not wake up before 8:30. I was like, whoa. Yeah, I know. Yeah, before my trip. I know. Linda, is that not kind of a silly thing to think I was going to be able to do, you know? And I probably know better, although I've never really done a garage sale. My sisters have done them, and my sister Patty's like a pro at it, does it all the time. But I just don't, and I just tend to haul my stuff that I don't want and take it to the local charity shop or whatever it needs to be done, or donate it and be done with it. I'd rather do that. Yeah, no, oh well. Fine. So, anyway, yes, 10 hours of sleep. 10 hours. Woohoo. Of course, it took they're called a sleep aid, and they're like taking a PM, ibuprofen PM, but without the pain reliever stuff in it. They're just the sleep stuff. So I took calcium, which is a natural sedative. I took that. And then I took a PM, and I took them early, and I was out like a light, and I slept like a log. It was so good. Yeah. Oh, your eldest grand's birthday. Nice. Yep. Happy day. There's Mona. Oh, gosh. The wolf girl. That was incredible. That was very, very cool. I loved it. Having seen a wolf pack and wolf pups when I was in Yellowstone from very far away and photographed them and watched them interact. I loved it. It was absolutely cool. Anyway, so yeah, it was fun to watch your wolf the whole bit. It was just a neat thing to do. Very neat collab you guys had going on. Like I said, I got to go back and watch the other two. 2 or 3, I think it is. So, today's stories. So I'm going to start out with the super silly. It's Guitar Star. And it's, Larry, you're going to love this one. The second book that I'm going to do is one I found at Mohi at the Museumm of Hstory and Industry. But then I found it, checked out to Libby. And I'll read it second. But I'm going to start with another one by Ryan Higgins. We watched Don't Eat Your Classmates the other night, or I read it about the dinosaur Penelope that comes to school and ate her classmates. That was by the same guy who did Bruce. Well, he has one called We Will Rock Our Classmates. And I thought I would do that as a quick precursor to the other book that I'm going to read, that is the nonfiction that I think those of you who are musically inclined and who have perhaps done some stuff with guitars are going to really enjoy. So the book, let's see, I'll hop right here to, here we go. We will rock our classmates. Yeah, we're going to start right. This one was Ryan Higgins. You know, he did the Bruce books. All these right here. For any of you who have ever been part of a school talent show, this will speak to you. Whether you watched it or participated or, like myself, helped put them together at school. Oh my gosh, we had a killer talent show. We had two of our teachers, the teammates, that put it together each year, and then I would help backstage and film and do all kinds of stuff. So anyway, let's see, what's the art in this one? I can't remember what he said. Illustrations were created using scans of treated clay board for textures, graphite, ink, and Photoshop. Pretty cool. Okay. Oh, back. Penelope's back with this one. Penelope was the only T-Rex in her school. Sometimes that made her stand out a little. Oops, wrong way. And sometimes Penelope's classmates didn't see her at all. They just saw a dinosaur. Want to play cops and dinosaurs? You could be the dinosaur. Well, I was hoping to play dentist. Great, we'll be the dentists. You'll be the dinosaur. Have you been flossing? William Omoto's backpack is stuck in your teeth. Dinosaur or not, Penelope loved to play. She loved to read. Good night, tasty moose, all wrapped in bologna. Good night, tasty goose, with a side dish of pony. Ponies. And she loved to draw. Wait, I won't eat you. I don't even have any mustard. But one thing Penelope loved to do more than anything else was to make music. She loved to sing. She loved to play guitar. Penelope loved to rock and roll. So when Mrs. Noodleman said the class was told the class about the school talent show, Penelope was excited. She was also nervous. She wanted to rock her classmates, but could she do it? Also, the sign-up sheet was right next to Walter, the ferocious goldfish. Penelope took a deep breath. She had to do it. She tiptoed past Walter. Then she quickly wrote her name with her bravest purple marker. I love that she has a brave marker. After school, Penelope shared the big news with her parents. I'm going to wear a pink tutu and big boots and spike my scales and look angry, and actually I'll be really happy, and oh, it's going to be so great. She hummed her favorite songs while brushing her teeth. She danced all the way to the bus. She even told her classmates about her favorite band, the Weevils. Best band ever. My dad used to go to all their concerts until he accidentally ate the drummer. At last, it was time for the rehearsal. Can dinosaurs even play guitar? And on stage, Penelope froze. She could not sing. She could not play guitar. She worried that dinosaurs could not rock and roll. Penelope was very quiet in the car ride home. She hardly ate anything for dinner. Are you sure you don't want any more penny pie? You've only had 52 burgers. The next day at recess, Penelope sat alone on the bench. She would not play hopscotch. I'm a T-Rex, not a hopscotcher. She would not play duck, duck, goose. I'm not a goose or another duck or a goose. I'm a dinosaur. And at the end of the day, Penelope crossed her name off the sign-up sheet with her saddest blue marker. When Penelope got home, she went straight to her room. Daddy Rex came in to talk to her. Is everything okay? He asked. I can't be in the talent show, she cried. I am just a dinosaur. Ah, I see, said Daddy Rex. Come with me. Take a look at this family photo album. This is your Uncle Frank. He was a figure skater. Oh, and here's your mom finishing her first marathon. And here's me, the world hamburger eating champion. Ate 5,053 hamburgers with ketchup. You see, said Daddy Rex, being a T-Rex is only part of who you are. You, for instance, are kind and caring, creative and adventurous, and you can be anything you want to be. The next day at school, Penelope marched back over to the sign-up sheet. She looked straight at Walter and almost lost her nerve. But Penelope's classmates had a different idea. Can we play with you? In your band? Please, Penelope? And that gave her just enough courage. On the night of the show, Penelope was really excited and also really nervous. She peeked out from the backstage to try and find her parents. When the curtains opened, William Omoto and his amazing animal sounds took the stage. Mabel Hastings Strings and her dancing pony went second. And then there was the Stegman Brothers synchronized swimming mimes act, followed by Martina Cortez and her dazzling card tricks. Your card was the 10 of hearts? No. Was it the elephant of spades? Finally, it was Penelope's turn. The lights on the stage were bright, but not as bright as Penelope. We are Penelope and the Mustard Seeds. Penelope was a T-Rex. She was also kind and caring and creative and adventurous. Most of all, Penelope was a rock star. Penelope and the Mustard Seeds came in second place, just behind Mabel Hastings and her dancing pony. That was okay with Penelope. She loved ponies. Ponies. And that's that story. Oh my gosh. The dinosaur that's a rock star. I'm going to go back and check what's going on here in chat. Apparently treating Mona a bit disrespectful and apologize for that. Oh dear. Larry, no, you were... Larry? No. Oh no, Julia, not in the hospital. No, well, I can't, it's amazing that you're here and hanging out. I hope we don't make you laugh too much if you're, or at least maybe if you get to laugh, you can feel a little better. Oh man. Thank you. Yes, we'll send lots of good vibes and healing protection, hedge of protection for Julia and what she's doing with her hedge of protection. Yay! Larry knows the hedge of protection too. Yes. Excellent. hedge of protection. I had a good friend, Joanne, who that was what we would always manage to pack around people that we needed it. And my friend Anne does that. Feel our hugs and strength, and they're all around you. Rock star, yay, love it. I know, even better than. So yes, it is. It was better than the first one where she ate, tried not to eat her classmates, but this one she only ate the ponies and William Omoto's backpack and the ferocious goldfish. Now that's just cracks me up. So this next book, though, this is like I said, I found this next one at Mohi and at the Museum of History and Industry, and I looked it up and I found it on Libby, so I know you can see it better sometimes when I show it this one. So I checked it out. It's by Kim Tomsic, and this is her not her website, but it is her showcase on the Society of Children's Books Writers. She says, her artist says, I live by the motto, it takes a village to write a book. My village is the SCBWI, where people ask me how to succeed as a kids lit writer. I tell them to join SCBWI, to participate in Connect Mingle events, find a critiquing group, read, and approach your art with a mixture of whimsy, humor, honesty, and compassion and flexibility. One of her favorite quotes is, and the day came when the risk it took to remain tight in the bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom. Aeneas Neon. And that is a quote that I actually have in my book, in my art, in my abstract photography book. I have one of my photos that matches that. I forgot that. So she is a word wrangler, gesticulator, exclamation point abuser. She was born in the American military base in Italy and has lived in various parts of the United States, thus forcing her to find her way as a new kid at many schools. Now, she's declared extrovert and enjoys helping others connect. She admires nice shoes. She's super awkward in heels and can be found in flip-flops on her way to a yoga class. She's the author of 1111 Wish and Guitar Genius, The 12th Candle, and Elephants Come Home. She has a lover of peanut M&Ms, devourer of Ling Hai Muse, and a fan of all things art and children's literature. Sounds like somebody I would get along with. And the book that I'm reading that she did is, let me pull it up. I'm still on the wrong book here. That one's expiring soon. Here we go. Bum. And so when I read this book today, I'm going to switch back and forth sometimes between the view that it shows you guys and the different kind of views so you can see better pictures. Because in some of the pictures, the one way it's laid out on the iPad through Libby is not as good as the way it could be, but it shows the pictures better. So get ready for this book by Kim Tomsic, illustrated by Brett Hellquist, and it is called Guitar Genius: How Les Paul Engineered the Solid Body Electric Guitar and Rocked the World. So, do you think our good friend Larry might like this book? Let's see, where am I here? There we go. In a 3-story schoolhouse near the Fox River. Oh, I was going to tell you before I start. Sorry. Let me do this. The illustrations in this book I thought were interesting because they're rendered in oil paint on watercolor paper. So it gives it that cool kind of historical feeling throughout it. In a 3-story schoolhouse near the Fox River in Waukesha, Wisconsin, children scrambled into the music room. Tambourines shimmied, drums boomed, and bells clanged. Little Lester loved it all. The punchy pluck of banjo chords, the bright twinkle of piano keys, the rise and fall of notes. Lester couldn't read the music sheets. Those tracks of squiggly lines and black dots didn't make sense. But it didn't matter. The fun part was all the sounds he could make. At his after-school piano lesson, his teacher sighed and pinned a note to his shirt. He skipped all the way home. And here I'm going to switch to a different view. What does it say? He asked, grinning from freckle to freckle. Well, Lester's mother said gently, it says you'll never be musical. Lester's shoulders sank. His eyes stung. Don't listen to her, his mother tore the piece of paper into tiny pieces. You are going to be great. Really? You can do anything you put your mind to. And Lester thought about that. He did a lot of thinking. One day, while he was stuffing newspapers for his paper route, his buddy Harry showed up, wrapping wire around an empty oatmeal can. What are you doing, Harry? I'm building a crystal radio set. Well, that was interesting. So Larry gathered bits and parts and built his own crystal kit. Then he wired it right to the bed springs in his mattress for an antenna. And out from his home-built radio floated the warm drawl of guitar strings. Wowza! Look at that. Antenna to the bed springs, the tuner, the oatmeal can, the ground, and the telephone earpiece. That's why I wanted you guys to be able to see these. Lester saved his paper route earnings until he had enough to order his very own guitar. As Lester opened the box, his finger hit one of the guitar strings. You already sound great, Lester, his mother said. He didn't. Lester fumbled through the chords. His fingers floundered over the fretboard. He even blundered through the B notes. His hands weren't big enough to reach all 6 strings. So he removed one, and then he practiced and practiced until he could play the guitar, the banjo, and even the harmonica. He sounded so slick that the manager of WTMJ invited him to play on the radio. Mister, his mother would say, you don't know how good that sounds. I wish you could hear it like we do when you play on the radio. I love this picture of the sound coming out of the radio in colorful bubbles. Well, Lester wished that too, but he didn't own a recording device. It was the 1920s. Nobody he knew owned that sort of gadget, but that was okay. If he didn't have a recording device, he'd build one. He scrutinized the family's newfangled gizmos, tinkering in his mother's living room and his father's garage, and then he took everything apart. Things like the phonograph and the player piano, the telephone and the radio. Ma, his big brother hollered, the kid's at it again. Leave him alone, Ralph, his mother said. He's just trying to learn. With a Cadillac flywheel, a dentist's belt, a nail, and other pieces and parts, he built a recording lathe so he could record his music. He made recordings of his guitar strumming and harmonica humming, and then he played them back to figure out how to make them sound better. Soon, he could whip out all sorts of knee-slapping hillbilly melodies. Everybody said he was super. But Lester wanted to be even better. He wanted to play both sides of his harmonica while he plucked his guitar. "You only have 2 arms, you doofus," Ralph said. "You can't flip a harmonica and play a guitar at the same time. Everyone knows that's impossible." But Lester thought it was possible. So when Ralph left for work at the neighborhood dry cleaning store, Lester picked up a coat hanger left lying around the house. He lifted the hanger over his shoulders and shaped the other ends to fit the harmonica so he could flip the instrument with his chin and play twice as many sounds. Hot dog! It worked! He could hum and strum at the same time. At 13 years old, Lester called himself Red Hot Red. He landed local gigs by playing his guitar harmonica set and telling funny stories. He performed for tips at nearby movie theaters, clubs, and drive-ins. Folks who sat up front loved the act, but people in the back complained, "We can't hear you, Red. Nobody in the back can hear you play." Lester wanted his music to be heard up front, in the back, and in the way, way back. His tips depended on it. He thought and thought until a solution struck him. He could make it louder. All he had to do was borrow a few things from home. A cinder block, a broomstick, a telephone, and a radio. He stuffed the broom handle into the cinder block and mounted the telephone's mouthpiece to the top of the broom handle. There, a microphone stand. Then he wired it to the radio to create the speaker for his sound. Lester sang and played his harmonica into the homemade mic, and sure enough, the tune boomed from the speaker. Hooray! Folks in the front could hear, folks in the back could hear, and the heckler in the way, way, way back sent a note to Lester. It read, "Red, your voice is fine, your harmonica's fine, and your jokes are funny, but the guitar is not loud enough." Lester rummaged through the garage until a brilliant idea zipped to mind. To take the tone arm off his father's phonograph player and jam the arm with the needle into the top of the guitar. He taped everything in place and wired it to his dad's radio. "Geez," Ralph said, staring at the ruined phonograph. "What did you do that for?" "If it plays a phonograph record, it must play a guitar, right? They both vibrate." He snatched up the contraption and headed back to Beekman's barbecue to test it in front of a crowd. It worked. Harmonica sounds floated from one radio speaker, bazoozy bazooza, guitar strumming amplifying from the other radio speaker, strum twang, strum twang. Everyone could hear. It was a smashing success. Almost. The problem was, it wasn't just the strings vibrating. The hollow space in the middle of the guitar vibrated too, making the speaker echo and screech. Lester knew he could play cleaner tones if he could just stop the guitar from vibrating. How though? It bamboozled him. He tried stuffing the hollow center with rags and socks and a tablecloth. Nope. Next he filled it with plaster of Paris. That was a bust and a ruined guitar. Lester had one more idea. He borrowed a wagon and convinced 4 friends to trek down a steep riverbank to the railroad tracks to help him. There he found a 2.5-foot piece of cardboard steel rail. Back at home, he attached a guitar string to the rail and placed a telephone microphone under the string to pick up the sound vibrations. "Now what are you doing?" Ralph asked. "There's only one way to do this," Lester said. "Steel is dense and free of vibrations I don't want." He gave his steel guitar a strum. Wah, 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 bow, chicka, wow, wow, bow. "Yowzer," Ralph said. But his mom, who usually thought Lester was the cat's meow, shook her head and frowned. "That'll be the day when you see a cowboy sitting on a horse playing a railroad track." All the cowboys in the movies and the traveling shows played guitars. Shucks, guitars and cowboys went together like peanut butter and jelly. If a cowboy wouldn't like this idea, then nobody would. Rats. But Lester pushed on. He tweaked and tinkered until he found a way to amplify his acoustic guitar without echo and feedback. Twang! It sounded okay, good even, but it wasn't the rich sound he heard the steel rail play. He continued practicing, and then when he turned 17, his mom let him take his act on the road. Rhubarb Red. At 19 years old, he shortened his name from Lester Pulfus to Les Paul. A few years after that, he formed a band called the Les Paul Trio. He played hillbilly music in the daytime as Rhubarb Red, and later learned blues and jazz at night as the Wizard of Waukesha. He swapped licks on his guitar in Chicago and then in New York beside some of the greatest musicians of the time. The new style of music got Les's mind tickling again. He loved the variety of sounds, the vibrato of clarinets, the badum-tush of drums, the blurp of horns, but the twang of his guitar still wasn't loud enough. Look who he played with: Louis Armstrong, Charlie Christian, Art Tatum, Coleman Hawkins, Nat King Cole, Bing Crosby, the Les Paul Trio. By the time Les turned 24, he'd become a hotsy-totsy musician. Even President Franklin Delano Roosevelt loved his tunes. When Les and his Razzmatazz Jazz Trio performed at the White House. Still, Les dreamed of the sound of that iron rail, and how could he make an electric guitar that held a note like that? The question prickled and pestered in his mind until 1941, when he was 26 years old. He didn't have equipment or a workshop, nothing. All the things that he had But he was red hot red, rhubarb red, the Wizard of Waukesha, and he could do anything he set his mind to. The night watchman at the Epiphone Guitar Factory let him in on Sundays. There he took a 4x4 piece of solid pine, hooked on an Epiphone neck, his own homemade pickups, and guitar strings. His solid body electric guitar looked like a log with strings on it, so he called it the log. And when he gave it a strum, wah, 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 bow, chicka, wow, wow, hot dog, Les said. It was the best thing he'd ever heard. He took it to a swanky nightclub to show off his new sound. But when he played the log in front of a crowd, they didn't applaud. They didn't boo. Folks just looked at one another. What is that thing? Huh? How could the audience not hear what he heard? But Les's shoulders didn't sink. His eyes didn't get stingy. He did not give up. Maybe the audience hears it with its eyes. Les returned to the Epiphone factory and he told the watchman, "Everyone's confused. They don't know it's a guitar." "There," Les said. "Now it looks more like a guitar." But it wasn't a regular guitar. It was a solid body electric guitar. Wah, 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 bow, chicka, bow, wow. It purred, it hummed, it twanged in all the right ways. Finally, the sound he'd dreamed of had come alive. The crowd went wild. No matter what anyone told Les, he never stopped working on all kinds of sound. His hard work earned him a place in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the Grammy Hall of Fame, and many other halls of fame. He was also received the Trustees Award from the National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences. At 89, Les Paul was inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame. When he walked on stage to receive his award, noise erupted and boomed from the crowd. Clappity clap, roo-ha, whoozai, hooray! Hot dog, Les thought. Oops. Switch it back. There. So it's only fair, it says from the author, it's only fair to mention that in the early 1930s, a musician named George Beauchamp and an electric engineer named Adolf Rickenbacker teamed up to create the first commercially viable amplifiable electric guitar, the frying pan. To many, Les is considered the father of the solid body electric guitar. With his patent, a design many musicians consider unmatched in sound and prowess. The National Inventors Hall of Fame lists Les Paul as the man who introduced the world to the solid body electric guitar, pioneering instrument that transformed popular music. Perseverance is one of the most admirable attributes about Lester William Pulfus. Les never learned how to read sheet music. He spent his life playing by ear, which meant he had to listen carefully and then figure out how to play the sounds. It's hard to believe his piano teacher really sent that discouraging note home, but according to Les, the entire note said, "Your boy Lester will never learn music, so save your money. Please don't send him for any more lessons." Fortunately, young Les had grit and a mother who absolutely believed in him. It didn't matter to Les his mother that Les disassembled home gadget, punched holes in the piano roll, or even that he cut out a bit of the staircase. His mother thought everything he did was brilliant. As the Les Paul Foundation website notes, each night when young Lester headed up the stairs to bed, he would play his wooden xylophone, which is how he described the vertical planks along the stairs. Lester explained, "There was a problem. The xylophone was out of tune, so I had to tune it. I cut the bottom of the plank that was out of tune." Les shared that his mother thought he was a genius for being able to tune the staircase. In the 1940s, Leo Fender and Les Paul were dear friends. Fender and Paul Bigsby regularly hung out with Les in his backyard. Les showed them the log. The three inventors knew the solid body electric guitar was the future, and they talked about it all the time. Fender invited Les to partner in producing an electric guitar, and Les declined. He wanted to hold out for a deal with Gibson. In 1948, Fender went on to create the Telecaster, first called the Broadcaster. After Fender's success with the Telecaster, Gibson finally teamed up with Les, and in 1952 produced the Gibson Les Paul solid body electric guitar. As for Paul Bigsby, he also built custom electric guitars in the 40s, but he gained fame for the Bigsby vibrato tailpieces. Les's desire for the perfect sound didn't stop at the guitar. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame website says he also refined the technology of sound recording, developing revolutionary engineering techniques such as close miking, echo delay, overdubbing, and multi-tracking. The Les Paul Foundation notes Les Paul's contribution to the music industry are legend. Tape delay, phasing effects, multi-track recording, and overdubbing or sound on sound, all techniques that have helped to evolve music and record technology over the past half century. Of these, his sound on sound was the most revolutionary. Never before had recording allowed or been used for making multiple recorded tracks that could be played in tandem, creating a whole new sonic world for musicians and engineers to explore. Musicians of various backgrounds sing the praises of Les Paul. In 1988, when B.B. King and Les Paul performed together at the Brooklyn Academy, B.B. King said, "Finally, we get together and I get a chance to meet what I think is a legend in his own time." B.B. King later remembered that meeting, calling Les Paul one of his heroes. In an interview for Chasing Sound, Bonnie Raitt talks about how much she appreciates Les Paul's invention of multitracking and says, "I mean that, to me, the greatest thing invented, multitracking. We couldn't have records without it. I couldn't write music without it." Guitarist Rick Derringer said, "He was really an innovator in modern recording techniques. It almost like he was the person who invented the sound of today's pop records." Les never stopped pursuing the contraptions of his imagination. He didn't stop when he was almost electrocuted himself in 1941 and had to be bandaged from head to toe. He just worked harder. When he shattered his right arm in a car accident in 1948, doctors wanted to amputate. But with the can-do attitude he had all his life, he convinced them to set his arm at a right angle so he could keep whipping out licks on his guitar. In the 1950s, he created the Les Paulverizer, a remote control attached to his guitar to let him play pre-recorded layers of songs, so that during live performances he could produce his multi-track sound. In simple terms, he could play several parts of music at the same time, and in fact his song Lover features Les playing 8 different guitar parts. Wow. He used his revolutionary sound on sound recording methods to produce songs for Capitol Records right in his living room, in hotel rooms, and in bathrooms. Furthermore, Les designed the 8-track tape recorder, marketed by Ampex. Not only was he a great inventor, Les Paul was an incredible guitarist. Lester the Kid, who would never learn music, went on to win 7 Grammy Awards. Les Paul's discoveries in sound changed the landscape of music. Casual music listeners may not know this, but most accomplished musicians will tell you Music as we hear it would not exist without Les Paul's perseverance and groundbreaking innovations and inventions. Yeah. So, Larry, what do you think? Pretty cool book, huh? Yes. Yeah. And you knew the guitar artist was. Yes. I saw this book, Larry, and I was like, oh my gosh. I could not, I instantly knew that I had to read it and that you would, and I just couldn't believe it. And I didn't, because I just kind of skimmed it until just now. I didn't know it had all that additional detail because I wanted to be surprised about them too. Sometimes I like to read these books to you guys. I know if they're good or not, but I have read the reviews on them and I know the author's work and stuff like that. But I don't always read them thoroughly through to from beginning to end because I want to be surprised myself. This had such good information about Les Paul, and I think, just celebrating that, the invention that he did and how he came up with stuff and that he tuned his staircase and that his mother let him. I kind of think I need to give this one to my daughter who has the 3 kids, because you never quite know what they're taking apart and putting together at that house. And she was just like that. Yep. Just like that. Oh, stuff like this is such cool fun. Egwin, a piece of metal, yes. Not even tell you can't. There goes the gramophone. I know. Isn't it great, all the things that he took apart? Oh, Julie, I'm glad your husband's listening. I hope he enjoyed it. Is a sought after one, yes. I'm missing some of this story. Oh, no. Oh, no. Yeah. He'll enjoy it. He's listening. Yeah, Larry has redone and restored even some pictures and I couldn't find the picture that Larry sent for the book of the guitars that he's restored and has shared. I'll look to see if I can find that, but that's such an admirable thing to do, and that's just, I had no all the other things that he invented and driving, so I missed a few moments, but yes, it's a great book. I'm glad you liked it last night. Derek Trucks and Susan Tadushi are amazing. Oh, you saw some good, that's right, you guys were at a concert last night. Oh my goodness, yeah, I have a good friend, Elaine Dempsey, that she's in Gig Harbor, but she tours and plays backup to a variety of bands around, and but when she's here in town, she plays in different places. It's fun to go. It's there. I've only gone and seen her once, but boy, I'm excited to go back for some more. Well, you guys, that was tonight's story in art. I really like the artwork too. I love the fact that it was oil done on watercolor paper, and just how it created that kind of, and that look to it for the drawings, had that kind of, the 40s, 50s looks to it, and that whole bit. It was pretty fun. Also, when I was looking to do the opening, little opening video, I went on YouTube to look for different Les Paul videos to show him and how he plays, to see how it would work. So that was one of the things. And how music sounds. I know that was one of my very favorite pictures, the one with the music in colors. And this one he did it too. Oops. Ba-doop. There. Oh, doesn't show. Oh, that's in 2 pages. Doesn't show real well. Let me go back here. This one, here's another one where they show the music in colors and coming out. It's just so cool like that. I absolutely love it. It's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Well, you guys, okay. So 9 days to go. Tomorrow's 8 days. That was a great story. Tomorrow is Sunday. If you have any art, send it on in. I'll probably show some tomorrow night. We'll see what we come up with stories because I have not planned ahead on those. I'm flying by the seat of my pants on these. Let's see what's in my oh, that's a cool one. I have some cool, so that one, I have a very funny one. Yeah, I might do those three. I might do those three fun, a couple sweet ones and a funny one. I one about a chicken. Here's a chicken one, because I did another chicken in my sketch. But show you guys that tomorrow night. So everybody, Julia, get well. We're sending you all our healing thoughts. Take care. Let us know if there's anything besides sending healing thoughts that we can do to help you out. But otherwise, you know, we're here supporting you virtually. Holding you up, girl. Holding you up, everybody. And for everybody else that's here tonight, I think, did I see Helen sneak in? I thought I saw Helen. Mona's here. Oops, I'm gonna. Oh, come on. Okay, that was better. I wasn't going to mute there for a second. I didn't want to cough on you. Everybody, take care. I will catch you tomorrow night, but until then, keep looking for the beauty hidden in plain sight. It's all around you. It's around everybody in this group. And share the love. All right? You guys are the best. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.
In the heat of the night, we could get lost in all the lights and sounds. Feeling alright, we won't go home, we will just stay here downtown. There's not just stars on the boulevard, they're in the light in your eyes. Oh, we don't need no black cards, I just need you by my side. We could be shameless, famous, running cool, with a love that leaves us weightless. Ooh, drop dead gorgeous, wow. Ooh, you got me feeling starstruck too. We could
Spelling's overrated, Angie.
we could be famous. You blow my mind, looking like a model, better than usual.
Am I packed and ready?
You don't even try.
You're so funny.
Put you on a pedestal. There's not just stars on the boulevard, they're in the light in your eyes. Oh, we
6
don't need no
bangers?
black cards,
Seriously?
I just need you by my side. We could be
Well,
shameless,
that's right. Nathan is up next, you guys.
cool, with a love that leaves us weightless. Ooh, drop dead gorgeous,
Okay. This is a little guitar indie going on here. Yeah. I tried to learn to play guitar once. Last year about that.
we could be famous.
6 bangers. How come Angie only knows about 3 of them, Larry?
everybody.